Of the World Championship, the teams have returned from the rarefied altitude of Mexico City to the Paul Ricard circuit near Marseille. Now, with the next 8 races all in Europe, the tempo and the competition are going to increase, and there are genuine prospects for a tremendous tussle for supremacy between McLaren, Ferrari, Williams and Benetton. World champion Alain Prost has already won the French Grand Prix 4 times. He won in Mexico 2 weeks ago for Ferrari with teammate Nigel Mansell second, and Alain is very bullish about his prospects for today.
I always did a good result in France, 4 times winner, and I finished once second, twice third, and almost finished all the races. And I expect to win again. It looks like the car is working very well on this track. Now the Ferrari is quite reliable, and we are also quick in qualifying, which is not very usual, so I'm very optimistic.
Brazilian Ayrton Senna leads the World Championship for McLaren, but after retiring in Mexico with a shredded tyre, he freely admits that he made a mistake.
It was a mistake from us, my mistake also from the team. As far as when I felt the problem, I thought, okay, I come in and I call the radio. They couldn't really understand, so we wait another lap. Then when they understood, they questioned me whether I really need to stop, whether I really should, because of course at that stage meant being difficult to win. But and I got unsure as well, and time was going, and then was too late to stop, so I carry on. It cost us valuable points, but as much as was a mistake from telling me to stay out, was also my mistake not to come in immediately. So it's learning.
Senna still has an 8-point lead in the championship ahead of Prost and Berger, but with only the best 11 scores from the 16 races to count, and with Mansell, Alesi and Piquet well into double figures, the title is a long way from decided. In Mexico, the correct choice of tyre was critical, as Ayrton Senna found out. And here in France, tyres are going to be very important too, as Jonathan Palmer explains.
With fronts 13 inches wide and rears 18 inches, these Formula 1 tyres are clearly vast compared with this from a family car. But first, just in case you've always wondered, these slick tyres, as used in dry conditions, are bald because tread is only required for water drainage. These are the wet weather tyres. It's not just the size that provides the phenomenal grip. The rubber itself is relatively soft and therefore sticky. The softer this rubber mix, the compound, the more grip the tyre will have, but the trade-off is that it will not last as well, with the extreme being super grippy qualifying tyres designed to last just one blistering 3-mile lap, vital for a grid time, but expensive at £1,000 a set. In contrast, in order for the race tyres to last 200 miles, the compound must be much harder, with a consequent loss of grip, perhaps 2 to 3 seconds a lap. The tyre companies, though, bring over 4,000 tyres to each Grand Prix, in various different compounds, and each team has to assess its own optimum tyre. No easy task. Teams can decide whether to run one set of hard tyres throughout, or 2 sets of faster, softer tyres, which will require a time-consuming pit stop when they lose grip. And even though the tyre change itself can be lightning fast, a further 20 seconds is normally lost, entering and leaving the pits. The tyre's role, though, is more than just providing grip. Running at a very high temperature, 110 centigrade, and a relatively low pressure, 18 psi, they also act as an important spring. Indeed, most of the visible car movement comes not from flexing springs, but from squashing tyres. The old abrasive Paul Ricard circuit was a real tyre eater. Now, with a new smooth surface, no one can be sure how the tyres will perform.
Nigel Mansell says that tyre choice and tyre stops will decide today's race. And his first pole position for 40 races is a record 108 for Ferrari. Second and third on the grid, Berger and Senna's McLaren. Prost is fourth. Capelli and Gugelmin an excellent 7th and 10th for Leighton House, and a disappointing 16th and 17th Derek Warwick and Martin Donnelly. And a lovely start from Mansell, a superb start
with Gerhard Berger. Mansell leads out of the first right-hander. Berger is second. Up into third position has come Senna. Nannini is in fourth place. Then it's Riccardo Patrese. Prost is down to sixth position at the first corner from fourth on the grid, so he's got some making up to do. Now, 200 miles an hour nearly. You're looking back from Eric Bernard's car, and now forward from Thierry Boutsen's. Now they go from the Cours de Signe into the double horseshoe. The right, and then the left at L'Épingle, then into Bendor, a right-hander, followed by Latour, a left-hander, into the Virage du Pont, Bridge Bend, which is the end of the lap, which they're pretty close to now. That is Gerhard Berger, and he's ahead of the Ferrari. Gerhard Berger leads. In second place is Mansell, being caught by Senna. Fourth is Nannini, fifth is Patrese, sixth is Prost, and in seventh place is the other Williams.
And Mansell defending his second place there is passed on the straight by Berger. And the Ferrari still not running their new engine, and probably of the front runners the least powerful now. Senna in perfect position in the tail behind Mansell. Mansell's defending the corner, but I think Senna's going to be through him. And Senna moves up into second place. So the McLarens 1 and 2, and we're only on the second lap. Now, Ferrari are running the softer tyre and would expect to be quick around the corners, but they definitely had a straight line disadvantage there to the McLarens.
Well, were McLaren sandbagging all the time during practice? I suspect they were, because people were very assured about the fact that Ferrari were going to dominate this race. And it looks as though, as they used to in the past, with Niki Lauda in particular, McLaren were not so concerned about the grid as they are about the race. And you can see that Mansell in third place has now got Nannini in the Benetton V190 with the Ford V8 engine right in his wheel tracks. Fourth position. The two McLarens are clearing off already, and then it's Riccardo Patrese followed by Prost sixth.
Now remember, this is going to be a long, hard race from the point of view of tyres in this heat. And at the moment, quite honestly, we're only skirmishing with the tactics. There's going to be tyre stops, there's going to be high wear rates, and there could be dramatic changes.
McLaren, Berger, Senna, Ferrari third, Nigel Mansell, who is yet to win a race this year. His teammate, of course, Alain Prost, has won twice for Ferrari. Through to complete lap 5 goes Gerhard Berger. Now, Berger's time, the fastest lap we've had so far, is that of Ayrton Senna. No, Nigel Mansell's just gone round in 1 minute 10.7, which is about a second outside the lap record, but of course it's very early in the race. Another 75 laps to go. Now, it's still very close, but I say again, this race is going to be decided on tyres and tyre stops, and they'll all be watching their rubber very carefully. Thierry Boutsen then into the pits. Hopefully, though, there he is. You can see him now. Let's see if it's a tyre change. He's going suspiciously slowly. In fact, he's being pushed in. That means to say that the engine obviously is not driving, and now he's being eased back, and it looks to me very definitely as though Thierry Boutsen is the first retirement from the 1990 French Grand Prix. Boutsen then, and look at that, that is Pirot spinning. Emanuele Pirot spinning in the Dallara on lap 9, and Boutsen is definitely out, so that's one Williams less. And this is Riccardo Patrese's Williams going into Signe at about 180 miles an hour, and in his mirrors he can see Alain Prost is coming up to try, believe it or not, to take him on the outside as they go into the double horseshoe. Knocked back, quite understandably, and he's right there to make a passing move at the end of the lap.
Yes, but he's got a big problem, because the only real passing point at Ricard are the corners at the end of the two main straights. Now they're coming down round the left-hander into the right-hand hairpin and onto the straight. But the problem for Prost is that the Williams out-accelerates the Ferrari, and of course the same up the straight that they come across to now, the fastest part of the circuit. going to be very difficult for Prost to find a way around for Tracy, who's no easy man to pass anyway, round the back of the circuit.
And Prost, if he's going to challenge in this race, needs to get past Riccardo Patrese as soon as he possibly can, because there's now about a 3-second gap, more than that, between himself and race leader Gerhard Berger on lap 14.
Yes, that's where I think Prost is going to have to do it, into the double right-hander. He had a look there, had a look down the outside, but I think that was just to try and draw Patrese wide for his attack. But he showed his hand then by looking down the inside. He does have a real problem. In the meantime, up front, Senna is now really closing down on Berger.